23rd, 2023 Eugene City Council meeting. My name's Randy Groves. I'm the City Councilor for Ward 8 and Council President. Tonight, I'm sitting in for Mayor Venice, who's away on city business. Thank you for joining us in this hybrid meeting environment. Anyone wishing to access the meeting can do so by watching the live stream available on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by following the access instructions listed for the meeting on the city's public webcasts and meetings materials webpage. Tonight's meeting will include a public forum. If you wish to speak during the public forum and have not already done so, please fill out a request to speak form available on our public webcast and meeting materials webpage. For those of you in person, printed forms are also available at the entrance to the room. We'll accept requests to speak forms until 7:35 p.m. These requests to speak forms will be used to generate the random order of speakers and correctly enter speakers' names into the public record. For those joining the meeting by phone that wish to provide testimony and are unable to complete the request to speak form online, press *9 when the form is announced, and the last 3 digits of your phone number will be added to the speaker's queue. As a reminder, the council's meeting rules of conduct include no flags, signs, loud or disruptive language, noise, or conduct that obstructs the business of the council. Please keep the room quiet and respectful for all the speakers. You're welcome to wave your hands in silent support. Additionally, we encourage those that are ill or who have had close contact with others that are ill to join our meetings remotely rather than in person. We also encourage attendees to spread out, you can't really do that tonight, within the meeting space to allow 6 feet of distance from others and wear a mask if you would be more comfortable doing so. We have some available at the back of the room if you need one. Okay, I'm going to start with land acknowledgement. Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to this region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. This land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor Native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were disposed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced indigenous people. The city of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Ilahi. Kalapuya descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, Community of Oregon, and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make contributions in our community here and across the lands. We express our respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and indigenous people who live in the state of Oregon and across the nation. With that, we'll move on to our first order of business, committee reports and items of interest. Councilor Evans.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor. I'd like to give the Intergovernmental Relations update. The IGR committee meets on Wednesday, November 8th to review and act on the 2024 legislative priorities and policies. As I shared with you 2 weeks ago, staff is updating the existing priorities and policies documents and will bring back a draft set of documents to the IGR committee for review and endorsement at the November meeting. The documents that are endorsed will then come to the full city council for discussion and action at a work session concurrently scheduled for November 27th. Also, for my last update, the IGR officer sent an email to Mayor Venice and city councilors with the draft documents on October 16th for your review. If you have input to provide into the process, please reach out to an IGR committee member, city manager, or the IGR officer.
Thank you, Councilor Evans. Do other councilors have items of interest to come before the city council? Councilor Leach.
Thank you. Yes, we had our Human Rights Commission meeting last week. And I wanted to read a portion of a statement that was released post that meeting because we had an incident in which unidentified individuals attempted to use the Human Rights Commission meeting as a platform for disseminating messages infused with hate, anti-Semitism, and harmful sentiments aimed at our Jewish, immigrant, and Black communities. As the commission, we unequivocally denounce such behavior and rhetoric, and we are steadfast in our commitment to a community free from hatred, bigotry, and discrimination. As eloquently stated by Commissioner Dr. Silky Booker during the meeting, there are no winners in war, because we remain we remain united in our resolve to combat any attempts to manipulate and weaponize our community against another. And so just emphasizing the need for all communities to have a deeper understanding of the tragic situation in the Middle East. And we stress the importance of respecting human rights on both sides, here and abroad. So I just wanted to read parts of that statement, because of incidents that we had in our own community, with the protests here downtown, and just to reiterate our commitment to making sure that everyone in our community feels like they're welcomed and belong. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Leach. Councilor Clark.
Just wanted to remind those who live in Ward 5 and in the Ward 4 area that Wednesday night is a Northeast Neighborhood Association meeting at 7 o'clock Wednesday at the church at the corner of Crescent and Gillum. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Clark. Anything else to come before Councilor Keating?
If anyone had Councilor Keating rides his e-bike to the meeting and then gets a flat tire on the way, congratulations, you won. My apologies for being tardy, colleagues. Quick update in regards to our Human Services Commission that Councilor Groves and I serve on. The commission, the subcommittee of the commission met today. We're launching a full charter review, and I expect and applaud greater collaboration between the Poverty Homeless Board and the Human Services Commission. LRAPA, the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, seeks a new executive director. As per statute, applicants should display a competency in the realm of air quality. And if there are air quality concerns as we head into the colder months, and you would like to make your voice heard, visit LRAPA, Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, LRAPA website to provide any complaints or feedback to the agency. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Keating. Okay, I believe we are ready for consent calendar 1. Councilor Keating, I believe you have a motion to pull, or you're pulling an issue.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor. And there's a Scrivener's error that was discovered in the minutes for September 13th. There's a request to change the word being to bring, so it's a human error there. Legal counsel, do we need a motion for that, or can we accept it without objection, changing that Scrivener's error?
You still would need to just make a motion to adopt it with that correction.
Great.
So, yeah.
Will do. Thank you. In that case, Councilor, I move to approve the minutes for the work sessions, meetings, and public hearings on June 28th, 2023, September 13th, 2023, September 20th, 2023, and September 27th, 2023, with the corrections to the minutes for September 13th, 2023, to change the word being to bring in the motions recorded on page 3 and 4.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? It appears to be unanimous. That passes.
Is Alan on?
I'm not seeing Ellen. So we have 7.
I voted aye.
Oh, he's right there. Yeah.
Okay. It's a barcode.
I usurped his second. Sorry. Apologize.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to the public forum. The public forum is an opportunity for individuals to speak to the city council on any city-related issues except those items which have already been heard by a hearings official. Staff, can you please share the list and total number of speakers that signed up to speak at public forum by 7:35 and announce the first speakers?
Just a moment.
Cherish is working to prepare that list and randomize. I am looking at City Attorney. Did you want to address the consent calendar vote?
Okay. No.
Okay.
Did you want me to?
I wasn't sure you looked like you had something to say, because we did not vote on the consent calendar.
pull the minutes solely and only, I thought they voted on the entire consent calendar. I apologize.
The motion that was made was just on the minutes.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
So you do need to vote on the remaining of the.
Move to approve consent calendar as presented.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, but it's supposed to be Ellen. I'm trying not to, you know. All right, second.
All in favor, raise your hand
Aye.
or say aye. It looks like it's unanimous. Motion passes. While they're putting together, staff's putting together the list, I want to add, please note that the public forum will be limited to 90 minutes total. If the number of speakers approaches or exceeds the time we have allotted for the forum, we encourage you to consider abbreviating your remarks so that the maximum number of speakers can be heard. I'll turn it back to moderator.
Thank you, Counselor. If you have signed up to speak via Zoom, please take this time to ensure that your screen name in Zoom matches the first and last name you used to sign up to speak. If your screen name does not match, we cannot promote you to a panelist to speak when it is your turn. We will announce 2 speakers' names at a time. If you are providing testimony via Zoom, when it is your turn, we will announce your name and promote you to a panelist status. And you can unmute and turn on your camera if you wish. If you are announced as the next speaker and physically in the room, please move to the seat in the front row designated for the next speaker. When it is your turn, you may come to the podium. Please leave any bags you may have with you at your seat. When you are called to speak, please state your name clearly, and for Eugene residents, your ward or neighborhood, if known, before beginning your comments. You will have 2.5 minutes to speak. If you are watching the meeting, the timer should be visible. A yellow light will come on when you have 15 seconds to complete your comments. The red light indicates the end of the 2.5 minutes. For those who have connected to the meeting via phone and don't have the benefit of seeing the timer, please be aware that your microphone will be muted at the 2.5 minute mark. Please note that screen sharing or displaying information on the screen is not allowed, and any misuse of the platform or violation of the council's code of conduct will result in immediate termination of speaking privilege. If you have documents to give council, please place them in the council inbox basket near the podium. Our first speaker this evening is Lynn Woodrich, followed by Michael Whitman. And Counselor, to give me just a moment to promote Lynn.
Thank you. And I noticed there's some redundancies in the list.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds.
Yeah, he's not there.
Bottom right corner.
Like a.
It's the barcode.
Oh.
My name's Lynn Woodrich. I'm the Active Bethel Community Co-Chair. I've lived in the Bethel area over 25 years. I live in Ward 8. I'm speaking for the Active Bethel Community Board. Thank you to our 3 Bethel City Councilors, Greg Evans, Randy Groves, and Lindsay Leach, for attending our ABC General Meeting on October 18th at Peterson Barn. Our residents enjoyed having an opportunity to share their thoughts and hear from you directly. Thank you for moving the work session today regarding neighborhood planning into the first position. We're excited to see our Bethel area plan moving forward. Bethel is ready to begin planning with over 50 people signed up to give their input. We have already done our Bethel visioning, and I can send our results to you again. Our residents want clean transportation options to include biking, walking, and public transit. We need a way to attract more restaurants, healthy food options, and gathering places, and make it a safer place to live. We're excited that your October 18th work session unanimously agreed that Eugene needs public health industrial development standards. This step should eliminate any future J.H. Baxters by creating buffer zones between homes and polluting businesses and ban the worst polluting industries from city limits. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Our next speaker is Michael Whitman, and followed by.
Yes, thank you
Eric
for giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. I wanted to say, can we have a moment of silence for the victims in Gaza. Israel's killed more civilians in the last few days than 9/11. It's horrible. I want to go on to say, have any of you ever heard of the Talmud? For those that don't know, it's one of the books that the Judaic faith uses to guide them. It can be found in every synagogue across America and the world, and I welcome you to fact check my claims and consider what you may have previously believed to be wrong. Here's some examples of scripture from the Talmud. Yevamah 49b, Jesus was a bastard born of adultery. Sanhedrin 58b, if a non-Jew hits a Jew, he must be killed. Yal Cut 2450, extermination of the Christians is a necessary sacrifice. Sanhedrin 57a, what a Jew steals from a non-Jew, he may keep. Kethuboth 11b, a man who engaged in intercourse with a girl less than 3 years of age has done nothing. Glitton 57a, Jesus is in hell being boiled and not excrement. Zohar 1168, Jews must always try to deceive Christians. Baba Mexia 11.4b, the non-Jews are not humans, they are beasts. Zohar told off Noah 65b, when the Messiah comes, every Jew will have 2,800 slaves, which I find is an interesting piece of scripture considering that the American slave trade was Jewish. Louis Farrakhan, a great public figure, said, "How did I get to be an anti-Semite? What have I done? I told the truth about Jewish involvement in the slave trade." I believe that blacks and whites should not be enemies. We are both being played off against each other, and our misfortunes are from the hands of the vile Jew. As a society, we're allowed to criticize everyone but one protected group. They cry out in pain as they strike you. Every aspect of the media is Jewish. Every aspect of our government is Jewish. Our wars are fought for Jewish interest. Our whole existence is on Jewish supremacy. The group has been expelled 109 times throughout history. They lie about being persecuted. They lie about the Holocaust. And they continue to gaslight any opposition to their demonic plans. Go to gtvflyers.com and watch Defiant by Devon Stack. Adolf Hitler, the greatest story never told, and Europa, the last battles. Other sources of real media is stormfront.org. Hail victory.
All right.
That's enough. We'll take a recess. discussion, but I'd like to make a comment before we continue. This council does not condone vile comments. It does not condone derogatory comments against individuals or a people. And I would just ask that everybody maintain a sense of decorum and respect in these proceedings. Testifying at public forum is not a right, it's a privilege. And I just ask that everyone exercise that privilege responsibly. Thank you. If we could continue, please.
Our next speaker is Eric Wold, followed by Kaylin Jackson.
Eric's popular.
Good evening. My name is Eric. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I've been a resident of Eugene for 25 years. I am here as part of a rapidly growing community of pickleball who live, work, and recreate in Eugene. There are thousands of people who play pickleball in Eugene who are not here tonight. We are just the very tip of the iceberg of pickleball players. We came here to encourage the financially support the construction of the regional pickleball complex at Lane Community College. Towards that end, we specifically encourage the council to pass a resolution to add the regional pickleball complex to the list of projects eligible for Parks SDC funding. Why is this complex needed? Because the number of people who play pickleball vastly exceed the capacity of the local courts. And the locations where there are existing courts, which are Westmoreland Park and Stryker Field Park, are not suitable for expansion because they are located near neighborhoods and lack adequate parking and other infrastructure. Pickleball is a very popular park and recreation activity. It's the largest or the fastest growing sport in the country and has been for the last 5 years. As such, it should be adequately supported by the city of Eugene, including supporting the construction of places to play. Pickleball has grown rapidly over the past 10 years and is continuing to grow at a very rapid pace. Part of the reason why is because the sport is very social. This is evidence of that, okay? It is easy to learn, it is inexpensive to play, and offers great exercise. It is a sport where players across multiple generations can play together, and where people with disabilities and those who are able-bodied can play together. It is simply the most inclusive and welcoming sport that I've ever known. The planned regional pickleball complex will provide the courts needed to meet the existing demand, and it is ideally located at Lane Community College, which has large amounts of existing parking, has public transportation, and is not close to residential development, thereby negating concerns about noise. And the complex is a public-private partnership, so the city would not be asked to be doing this alone. It is similar to the synergy that the city has in another partnership around parks, which is the Rivers to Ridges Partnership. I'm sure all of you have at least heard of that. It is a strikingly successful partnership for trails and natural areas in the greater Eugene area. And the synergy of multiple organizations working together provides a...
Thank you, Eric. Your time is concluded. Our next speaker is Kaylin Jackson, followed by Les Shabbos.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Jackson. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I have been a resident of Eugene for the past 2 years. I currently live in Springfield. I'm also here as a part of the large and rapidly growing pickleball community here in Eugene. I came to encourage the council to financially support the construction of the regional pickleball complex at Lane Community College. Specifically to pass a resolution to add the complex to the list of eligible projects for Parks SDC funding. Personally, I work as a strength and conditioning coach at the University of Oregon, specifically with the women's basketball and softball teams. Throughout my time in Eugene, I've become a regular at the pickleball courts and have made a lot of lifelong friendships through this avenue. With that as well, we've taken the women's basketball and softball teams on team retreats and have included pickleball as one of the retreat activities, and they have absolutely loved it. So much so that a lot of them ask me to go play in our free time. So they really enjoy it, And to just see the younger generation becoming part of something like that as well is really amazing. It gives them an avenue for physical activity and recreation that they can continue with, you know, after they're done playing their sport in college, in a lifelong capacity. The growth of pickleball in this age group is also demonstrated by the newly created national championship for collegiate club pickleball teams. There are pickleball teams in each of the 5 major collegiate conferences, with UNC being the defending 2-time national champion. And the U of O is currently working on starting a club pickleball team for the university. They also instituted the first pickleball class this past spring, which filled up almost immediately. In the meantime, there are many current U of O students that are out playing at our crowded Westmoreland Park pickleball courts. And with the growth of pickleball among the young, middle-aged, and older generation, it really allows for multi-generational friendships and collaboration to be built. And this is one of the reasons why a great solution to the lack of courts in Eugene would be the regional pickleball complex to allow for all generations to enjoy the game of pickleball. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylin.
In light of how crowded it is in here, I want to resort the list, and I would like us to take all the people that are here in person first, and then we will finish up with the people that are testifying virtually.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Our next in-person speaker is Gina Kachopi, followed by Karen Gaffney.
I thought I had one more person ahead of me. Well, good evening. Thank you. I do not have anything prepared. I came here to support pickleball. My family's been avid pickleball players for going on 9 years. So when I decided to speak tonight, I'm coming to you as a small business owner in the downtown Eugene area. And some of the troubles that we have in operating our business. And I would love for you to, I know that a lot of people are familiar with the problems and challenges that you can face in the downtown area. We have a really sad homeless housing crisis going on. But I would like us to all have open eyes and try to be open to possibly new things. One of the things that I do see as a business owner who's very active in patrolling around my business, I'm on 17th and Willamette Street, is we are lacking in mental health care. Okay, I'm not seeing so much of, I'm seeing a lot of people that have some mental problems that need help. And there's a gap there on who you go to try to help those people. Unfortunately, a lot of times they do utilize drugs in combination with that. So now you're dealing with a situation with someone who can potentially be dangerous. And as a city and as a business owner, I will tell you that we've got to do something. Had I been aware, I was very naive when we opened our business down in this area. If I could go back and not have moved in that area, I would have, because myself personally, I'm in harm's way more times than not with getting people off of the property and everything. We get a lot of walk through traffic. Eugene is a great city. I love Eugene. We've raised our kids here and we plan on being here a long time. But also I do realize that I do not want to go into an unsafe environment every day. I have a walk-in business. It's a salon that is, our doors should be unlocked. I mean, fair enough. What kind of message does that send to your clients when your door has to be locked?
Thank you, Gina. Your time is concluded. Our next speaker is Karen Gaffney, followed by David Zupan.
If I could remind people, please state your name, ward if known. If you don't know your ward number, if you could identify the area of town you live in. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. My name is Karen Gaffney. I've been a resident of the city of Eugene for almost 40 years, and I live in Ward 2 with Councillor Keating. I'm also here to encourage the council to financially support the construction of the regional pickleball complex at LCC. and encourage the city to pass a resolution adding the regional pickleball complex to the list of projects that are eligible for Parks SDC funding. As many of you know, my background is in public health. I served as the county's public health director, mental health director, and retired a couple of years ago. And I have to say, as a public health professional, I'm so excited about the health and mental health and equity benefits of pickleball. This project provides an opportunity for the City of Eugene to join with other public and private partners in a positive project to create a great health and recreation resource for now and into the future. I'm excited about the growth of this sport because it provides moderate intensity exercise. It brings diverse people together in a social and fun way that combats loneliness, and it's a low barrier sport and very accessible. Studies confirm that pickleball contributes to improved wellness, including reductions in stress and symptoms of depression and anxiety. Pickleball builds community and connection with opportunities to nurture social relationships, boost self-esteem, and provide a sense of belonging. It helps combat the epidemic of loneliness, and particularly amongst the very young and the very old, who we're particularly concerned about. And a 2018 study showed that people who play pickleball at least 3 times a week can expect to see an increase in cardiorespiratory fitness, a reduction in blood pressure, and improvement in good cholesterol. It's good for individuals and it's good for our community. Pickleball is played by all ages and skill levels, with the fastest growing demographic nationally and locally being amongst young people. Given its ease of play and low impact nature, it can be an enjoyable way for people of all ages to stay active and fit. The game is accessible for people who use wheelchairs and is played as an integrated sport, including people with disabilities and those who are able-bodied together on the same court. The project is centering access for people with disabilities in the design, working closely with Eugene Adaptive Recreation staff, MIUSA, the local Wheelers group, to ensure true access and inclusion. And pickleball is accessible for people who are low income, with public courts and low cost equipment. We need your help. In order to see these benefits for our community, we have to provide more places for people to play. I ask the council to pass a resolution to add the pickleball complex at LCC to the list of projects eligible for parks.
Thank you, Karen. Your time is concluded. Our next speaker is David Zupon, followed by John Quilter.
Hi there. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm David Zupon. I live in the Friendly Street, Friendly Neighborhood Ward, whichever one that is. And I'm appreciate the opportunity to speak and to support the idea of a facility out at LCC, which I believe would really serve the community very well. I started playing quite a number of years ago, before the sport went mainstream, and I've played all over the country. I've played in Europe, and one thing I've noticed about the sport is that it is very social, as has been mentioned, but it's very friendly, and it doesn't matter if you're from out of town, or all you have to do is Google the sport, and up will come the location for the pickleball. And when you get there, you're welcomed, even though you may be a stranger in that community. And so what it is really is a healing experience for people of different backgrounds, different generations, different political orientations. They come together on the pickleball court, play and enjoy the social interaction, compete in a way that usually is friendly. So in conclusion, I'd say that you'd be doing a real service to the community, to the county, by having this facility. And it's very much also an economic investment, because many people that play pickleball are willing to support the community economically. So I think many businesses are discovering this as well. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Our next speaker is John Quilter, followed by Scott Willis.
I'm here tonight because my esteemed counselor, Clark, at his neighborhood meeting says nobody ever comes down here from Ward 5. So I thought I would take him up on his invitation and come down. Change of topics. The streets have seemingly become savage lately, but my goal is to preserve a 60-year driving record and bicycling record with no traffic convictions and no accidents. Every time I venture out in my very old and slow cars, but then I am old and slow, I'm almost assaulted by today's motorists, some of which seem to be practicing for stock car races or even worse, demolition derbies. So my plea is, could we ramp up the traffic enforcement efforts to encourage some civility in the streets and maybe even dial back some of the collector and arterial street speed limits by, say, even 5 miles an hour, which would lend a little more sanity to moving around town? I find it strange that put a person in a supermarket and their hands on a grocery cart, and as they move down the aisles and through the intersections, they're terminally polite. But put them in a motor car with their hands on a steering wheel, it's a whole different situation. So I'm advocating maybe we could take a look at the speed limits on collector streets and arterials. I know it's a state law, but maybe we can find a way to work around the state law and exercise a little local control. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our next speaker is Scott Willis, followed by Nick Tibet.
I'll sum my gear here to look a little more respectable. Thanks so much for the opportunity to speak to the council. I live at 1895 East 43rd Avenue. My name is Scott Willis. I'd like to speak to you about the health and rehabilitation benefits of pickleball. I'm a lifelong tennis player, but 15 years ago, I got a severe shoulder injury, lost my ability to play tennis, could only lift my arm this high. You have to have an overhead in pickleball, so I'm getting close. Still can't play tennis because it hurts like heck to hit an overhead, but I'm getting close, so it's helped. I've lost 60 pounds over the last few years. That's a third of my body, and pickleball is allowing me to take that weight off and keep it off. 2.5 years ago, I suffered a extremely bad stroke, 1.5 inch clot in my brain, 50-50 chance of survival. 5 weeks after that, I was on the pickleball court, and within a week to a week and a half, I regained my balance, and I'm fully recovered from that. So pickleball is a wonderful thing for everyone and adds a lot of health benefits.
Scott?
The hand waves only. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nick Tibet, followed by Richard Locke.
My name is Nick Tabbitt. I'm a resident of Eugene for the past 38 years. We live in South Eugene in Ward 2. I'm here to really talk about the social benefit that pickleball offers. I've played with probably half of the members in this room, none of which that I knew 3 years ago. I have a contact list in my phone, probably 50 or so people, first name basis, with a last name of pickleball, which allows me to create an ad hoc game whenever the need arises. It's a game that my wife plays, my children play whenever they return to town. We look forward to heading down to Westmoreland to play. I've also had the opportunity to play in a variety of different places, in Lake Okoboji, Iowa, in the Okanagan Valley in Canada, in Seattle, Portland, even Brooklyn, New York. And I can say that the facilities that I've had a chance to play on and in these various places seriously are much better than the kind of facilities that we have here in Eugene. But as other members talked about, it's the opportunity for us to go wherever, meet people, and be able to play. I've had the opportunity to play here in Eugene with people from Ohio, from New York, from California, who simply drop into the Westmoreland court with a paddle and say, let's play. And so in order to make a better welcoming community here in Eugene, I think pickleball provides that opportunity. And I really encourage the city council to look at funding a facility out at LCC to provide that opportunity for outside visitors to enjoy the Eugene site. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Our next speaker is Rich Locke, followed by Andrew Pham.
Thank you for your testimony. Good evening. My name is Rich Locke. I am a Ward 8 business owner. I have founded the Eugene Business Alliance, which has for over the last 3 years been talking about just what this lady was talking about: our safety in the community, our lack of security, our lack of enforcement in around these items. Friday afternoon, I took a nice 2-hour walk with Randy, Miss Councilor Groves, excuse me. And we went through the area between on the Amazon bike trail between City View and Bertelsen. And then, let's see, yeah, through to Bertelsen. And Randy was, Councilor Groves was very interested in City View to Buck. And it was fairly clean. He'd been complaining about it or reporting it to staff. And so it looked like it halfway was under control. And then I said, oh no, the best is yet to come. So we walked on past there. His feet were hurting. And I actually I had a cramp in my foot after I got off of it. But anyway, I just want to talk about that stretch between Buck and Bertelsen. That is infested. Remember the encampments down along, I thought we passed an ordinance and we were going to enforce the fact that we weren't supposed to be camping within 100 feet of a high water mark. But we've cleared downtown mostly out of the what do you call that? The downtown area. And it's pushed all into our lowest income residential neighborhoods, into our most racial diverse neighborhoods, and they're just being overwhelmed by these people. I'm counting on you, city manager, to direct our enforcement towards these people and keep them off of our front doorsteps. Great turnout for pickleball. I haven't seen this many pickleball players since I used to visit my parents down in Palm Springs.
Thank you, Rich. Our next speaker is Andrew Pham, followed by Stefan Strack.
Hi, my name is Andrew Pham. I've been a resident of Eugene for 10 years and I live in Ward 6. And if you couldn't tell, I'm here with the other pickleball players. I'm here to encourage the council to financially support the construction of the regional pickleball complex at Lane Community College, and to encourage the council to pass a resolution to add the regional pickleball complex at LCC to the list of projects eligible for Parks STC funding. So about me, I am a professional pianist. I teach and perform locally, and I also travel throughout the United States to work with opera companies as a rehearsal pianist. And you better believe that I do pack my paddle every time I travel. So community. Over the years, I've developed a wonderful network of friends through pickleball, and they are undoubtedly a significant part of my community in Eugene. I was introduced to the sport by a friend just about 8 years ago. And when I realized that people played virtually every morning and were seriously addicted, I, as a newcomer, could just appear and be welcomed. And it was a monumental paradigm for me. I realized I didn't have to wait for my one pickleball friend to call me to play, but I could just show up to this public place and find people who would integrate me into the games immediately. Fast forward several years, I now have a network of pickleball friends within Oregon and throughout the country, and also have a contact list with many people with the last name Pickleball. And I've played with people who today are 20 years younger than me, and at least one person who's 50 years older than me. And I think that multi-generational coverage is just an amazing thing that a sport can do. So as this community grows and expands, we will need more courts to play to accommodate the rapidly increasing number of players coming to the sport, which you all know there are many coming. And This magical game has a way of attracting and growing a community of people who are looking to get exercise, make friends, and just escape the pressures of life for a while. Personally, for me, I've also found a lot of audience members from pickleball players. There have been a number of people who've come to my concerts. One time, they were 2/3 of my audience. So lastly, I just hope for this facility for the winter months. It's a tough time for everyone emotionally, and having a covered court will be great for all of us who have trouble with the weather. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Our next speaker is Stefan Streck, followed by Roger Scalio.
Hello. Good evening, City Council and visiting constituents. I just want to speak some kind words in memory of one of my cats that passed away a couple months ago. He was a really cool cat. And it's been a big 8 years since I met Little Flubbers. He was there on the front porch when I first moved into my house on day one. And my roommate was really excited to meet this little cat. She was like, "Oh, I just met the friendliest cat ever." And I said, "Don't do it. It's a trap. Do not pet that cat. You pet that cat, he will never leave." And he didn't. So the days and weeks went by, and the little guy was as inconspicuous as a FBI surveillance van on the corner. I just peek out the window. Is he still there? Yep, cat's still there. So then about this time of year, started getting cold and raining. Little cat would sit out there, soaking wet in the rain, meowing on the front porch, and just I folded. I said, "All right, he can come into the living room. It's as far as he goes." And one thing led to another. Eventually, I woke up and the cat snuck his way under the covers and just popped his little head out. I couldn't have been more surprised if it was a raccoon. And that, I miss the little guy. But there's a good opportunity to fill the void with a new community center in a great location, which I'll be working on. And I think it's going to be a great little project with some food cart pods, little cat love to eat, little cafe space and coffee. And maybe we can get some nice community activities for people to enjoy, like running the space for private book clubs or ladies only speed dating. He was a really cool cat, and that's the sort of thing that would make him pretty happy. And I like the term Cool Cat Cafe Project. So I hope that more people can be a part of this in the future. And rest in peace, Little Flubbers. He was a really, really cool cat. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Stefan. Our next speaker is Roger Scalio, followed by Radiant Gaines.
Greetings. My name is Roger Scalio. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Although I currently live in Springfield, I'm here tonight because I am the president of the Emerald Valley Pickleball Club. We currently, as of this morning, had 857 members. The Pickleball Club is a 501c7 nonprofit organization. A majority of our members live in Eugene. And as Eric expressed earlier, there are so many more people play pickleball than are members of our club. I am here to encourage the council to financially support the construction of the regional pickleball complex at Lane Community College. To that end, I specifically encourage the council to pass a resolution to add the regional pickleball complex at LCC to the list of projects eligible for Park SDC funding. While the club has over the 850 members, that represents, as I expressed, just a fraction of the total number of people that are playing. We have people that are playing all different ages. We have people that play with disabilities. It brings people together. As you see, this is my family. This is our family. And that's the way we care about each other out on the courts as well as off. It's just, it's an amazing sport that brings people together, the connectedness of people. The pickleball has been growing so fast. We started the club in 2015 with 45 members. Tells you how fast it's been going. Club has worked collaboratively with local parks and recreation providers to expand the number of indoor and outdoor courts that are available in our community. The club has also contributed to help cover the cost of some of these courts, such as Meadow Park in Springfield and Westmoreland in Eugene. As an organization, the club has consistently partnered or offered to partner with parks and recreation providers, including the City of Eugene, City of Coburg, City of Cottage Grove, and Willamette Lane. And we would like the City of Eugene to join the partnership.
Thank you, Roger. Your time is concluded. Our next speaker is Radiant Gaines, followed by Jewel Gray.
Hello, I'm Radiant Gaines. I'm coming from 16th and Olive. And I am the third generation Eugenian who's lived here. My grandfather died of heart disease and was obese. My mother is obese and lives on the coast. And as you may or may not know, our nation suffers from an enlarged amount of obesity. Apple has recently released an article stating that the 1 Apple Watch workout is pickleball. I used to weigh 222 pounds, and now I am 131 pounds. So what I know is that we created a space where anyone can show up. You don't have to have a paddle, we'll give you one. And every person in this room, it's not a competition. There's not one person in this room who won't be there and support me when I have a bad day, or who won't be there and clap for me when I hit a good shot. And I think that pickleball is because it's the fastest growing sport in America, I think it is a huge part of potentially overcoming this obesity. And I really hope that you will consider putting the money towards LCC so that I don't have to wait 15 minutes in between games and lose my cardio, because I'm still trying to keep it off. I'm still trying to keep down there. And I just love playing pickleball and being part of this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Radiant. Our next speaker is Jewel Gray, followed by Lee Shabbos.
Hi, I'm Jewel Gray, and I have been in this community for 58 years, and I own a home in the South Eugene neighborhood. I'm also here, and I believe probably the last person you're going to hear from, to encourage the council to financially support the construction of the regional pickleball facility at Lane Community College. Towards that end, I specifically encourage the council to pass a resolution to add the regional pickleball complex at LCC to the list of eligible projects for Parks SDC funding. The reason I was asked to speak tonight is because two reasons. One, I traveled around the United States nationally and played on a pickleball circuit. I played in 39 states. I played in some of the best complexes in the United States. The design of the regional pickleball facility at Lane Community College is amongst the best, especially when it comes to the way that you can walk in. It's very welcoming. It's accessible. The parking's amazing. We're specifically creating parking for ADA access. So it is designed specifically to fit into the community standards of what the City of Eugene stands for. So that part is really exciting. The covered courts that were mentioned tonight too is something that there just isn't on the other outdoor complexes around the United States. So that it's going to be known as one of the stadiums around the United States, one of the complexes around the United States. Average large on the circuit is 1,000 to 1,500 participants at each one. So if you had complexes, so if they came to the complex and had a tournament here, that's a lot of people coming into Eugene and helping with tourism and the various things. I'm also a certified pickleball coach, and one of my specialties is adaptive. So I work with people in wheelchairs, hearing, sight issues, limbs, all various different. And that's part that, as you've heard tonight, I just love about pickleball is that wherever you are home, and you're willing and able to work with everybody, to play with everybody that's there. There just isn't there. Everybody plays together. It is a family, and it is something that socioeconomically is not a barrier. It's a low cost sport. And so then the pickleball club makes it very easy for people to have access to it. So we really appreciate your time tonight and the opportunity to put money towards the LCC complex. And I hope you have a beautiful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jewel. We are now moving on to our virtual participants. First up is Lee Shabbos, followed by Gaseous Cage. Lee, I will be allowing you to speak.
Thank you. Hello. Hi. Hello, everyone. I live at 565 West 26th Avenue. Thank you for your time. So tonight I'd like to speak on the issue of violent crime, larceny, and break-ins to vehicles. You know, our city has been facing increasing levels of vandalism and break-ins to cars and homes. And this seems to, it just keeps increasing. So, last month my car's passenger window was broken into, and oh my gosh, I have been facing a lot from it. Okay, insurance, you know how it is. Listen, the main solution in fixing this problem is to put the people committing these crimes in prison, and especially to call out the prosecutors that are giving these, these young black men short sentences for committing these atrocious crimes.
I'm closing the public forum.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
President Groves, why don't we adjourn the meeting, take a recess?
And I'd like to take a recess.
Are we going home now?
I'm adjourning this meeting. Good night, everyone.
Yeah.